I am in Slovakia right now.
And while we're out there, we can see the Grand Canyon. It's been on my list since I was a little kid. But honestly, if it doesn't go just like we planned it, I don't care as long as it's just you and me. Let's drive to Vegas.
Hi friends, I am in Slovakia right now, and there are actually quite a few castles here, and I had no idea that there were so many, and there's quite a few that's close to Bratislava, and I'm at my first one right now. It's right up there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's called the Kachnice Castle, something like that, and I'm really excited to take a peek. I hear there's like a very interesting story surrounding this one, so it's about a mile of a walk up, and it's going to take about 40 minutes, so it's a steep hill. First impressions of this little town of Kachnice, not sure how to pronounce it, is that it is so quiet. It's like a village town. I'm actually a little surprised that it's like so local and so village-like. Like, it's a farm behind me. It's crazy and little and quiet. It's nice so far. I'm also procrastinating because I really don't want to climb the hill. But I want to see it, so no other options than to climb the hill. Almost there, a little over halfway, and it's honestly giving me flashbacks to the Silk and Tide trek. However, it's easier. One, because it's not as long. Two, the altitude is not the same. So, yeah, but still, this is a steep hill, y'all. You guys, I'm getting my first little glimpses of the castle. Super excited. It's also very windy up here because it's on a hill. So, just a few more 100 feet. You guys, I made it to the top. It's so windy up here, but you can see the little town where I came from, and you can see how little it actually is. There's a car here, so apparently you could probably drive up here, maybe from the other side of the mountain or hill. But yeah, if you rented a car, you could probably drive up here. So this castle dates back to like 1200, 1213, and it's been along for a really long time. But it became really popular, or more popular, 400 years later, when very unfortunate, sad couple events happened. So this noblewoman named Elizabeth Bathory was the woman of the house here, I guess, and she was known to be very cruel, and they later found out that she tortured and murdered 650 girls, and accounts from servants said that she bathed in their blood. They say it all started when one of her servant girls was brushing her hair, and she accidentally tugged too hard, and she flipped out, slapped her servant so hard that she bled a little bit on her hand, and then she noticed the next day that her skin looked a little bit more younger there where the blood had been, so she decided that she was going to bathe in people's blood, I guess. When Elizabeth ran out of young girls from the village, either because there weren't any or families were hiding their daughters, she started taking some from the noble family. And that's finally when authorities took notice, and so they imprisoned her in this room, where she died shortly after her imprisonment. They say they buried her alive. Just kidding, I don't really know if that is the room or not. but it seemed really ominous, and there's a skull in there, and I didn't want to get any further than that because, let's face it, it's a tad bit creepy. I made a friend. He currently has a rock in his mouth, and he keeps pointing to other rocks for me to play fetch with him. I didn't pay an entrance fee, but there was this really nice man attendant there, and he gave me a little informational flyer, which was super nice. But I love when I don't have to pay entrance fees. It's amazing. That was super, super cool. So glad I came to visit it. They've also said that this is the story, or the story about Elizabeth, was where Dracula got its inspiration. I don't know. What do you think? Guys, I found the next castle. This castle here is the Bojnicki. Sorry, I don't know the correct pronunciation, but it's right behind me, and it looks like another fairy tale castle. So fun. This one's kind of far outside of Bratislava. It took like a 3-hour direct train ride, but sometimes it takes like 3 to 4 hours, so a little bit out of the way. But super, super excited to explore. Alright, so I made it inside, and it is $10 for the castle tour, or sorry, 10 euros, and then 10 euros for the gallery tour. But if you do both, it's 13 euros. So I decided to do both. I already got my ticket, and now I'm just kind of sitting in the courtyard because we're going to do the gallery tour in about 5 minutes. So it's super, super quiet, which is really nice. So I just finished the gallery tour, and it was so interesting. Glad that I only paid 3 euros. I just wish I liked art more, and I thought, seeing some more art, I can appreciate it more. There were some very beautiful pieces. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to take photos. I didn't, because I was myself and the tour guide, so I didn't really take much photos. But one room she told me I could take photos in, and I think it was like a coronation room, and that room was beautiful. So pretty. But now I'm just waiting to go on the castle tour, and it's in English, so I also think I'm going to be alone. So it starts in like 5 minutes. So I just left the BOJNICE Castle, and it was actually one of the best castle tours that I've ever been on. It was totally worth the 10 euros to come inside, and it was just me and my tour guide, and she was absolutely lovely, and she had just this passion and enthusiasm for every little detail and artwork in every room, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And she definitely loves the castle, which I think makes me sit down and appreciate the little bits more too. But yeah, it's so beautiful, and yeah, so glad I came. And if you come to Slovakia, you definitely have to come and check out the BOJNICE Castle, because it's amazing, it's beautiful. So the first mentions of the BOJNICE Castle was back in 1113, and it went through different hands of ownership until this guy named Jonasz something inherited it back in like the 1800s, late 1800s, and he wanted to remodel it after some of his passions, like medieval times and the neo-Gothic era designs. So that's what it looks like today. Janusz never lived here, but he wanted to make this castle like a museum because he was a lover of art and he collected lots of different things, and he wanted one place to put it all, and he wanted to share it with the public. Sadly, when he died before the castle was finished being remodeled. His sister did not get along with him, so she ended up selling mostly everything that he collected, and now it is the state's seat of museums here in Slovakia. So it belongs to the state now, and it really is so beautiful inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's also a cave underground that was recently excavated, like 60 years ago or something like that, which is crazy because this is also like there's a hot springs close by, and there's a natural well inside, and by the well is this underground cave, which is crazy. Alright, you guys, I have come to the Davine Castle here, another castle ruins, and it is the closest to Bratislava. It is about 7 miles away. It's still about a half-hour train or bus ride, but it is right there, and I'm super excited. It opens at 10 in the morning, and so it's just about that time, so let's go explore. It's a bit of a misty day, which is kind of cool because it's giving it this misty, mysterious vibe, which is pretty cool. I don't know if there's an entrance fee, but let's go find out. Alright, I spent €2 to get in, which is so cheap, so I'm like, of course I'm going to spend €2 to come in and visit the castle, and yeah, so excited. And it's on a hill, which I understand why they would build castles on a hill, but it's still tiring to walk up nonetheless. But I see it, and I'm really excited. Basically have the castle to myself. It's actually really nice how they set it up there. They have like some exhibit statue things explaining certain things, which is really nice, both in Slavic and in English, so you can understand what actually things are, which is really cool. But I see some stairs that I'm going to head towards. I made it to the upper castle, the highest point here at Davine. Those are a lot of stairs. But it's all to myself, and it's a little bit misty, which is a little bit sad, but the views are really cool. You have the Danube River just right there, crazy, and then you can see the lovely Davine town just right there. Man, this castle is so old though. The first mentions of this castle was like in 860, so a long time ago, like 1400 years old. And yeah, so cool. So like I said, first mentions of this castle was in the 800, like 860, something like that. And then it passed down through different people, conquered by different people, and then until finally 1930, the owner sold it to the Czech Republic for 1,000 Czechoslovakia crowns, which is about $50 US. It's said to be a symbolic 1,000 crowns. I don't know what that necessarily means, but they sold the castle for $50. Crazy. And now it's one of the historic sites here in Slovakia. And you actually have a really nice view of what they call the Maiden's Tower, which is this further back one. And there's actually a really kind of cute, sad story behind it. It almost has like a Romeo and Juliet story. So one of the owners, Nicholas Garay, back in the 1400s, he fell in love with this girl named Margaret, and the parents didn't like the match, so they eloped in secret, and they came here to their castle. The parents found out, they came and stormed the castle that night. Nicholas died in battle, and Margaret was so beside herself and so sad that she threw herself in the river. Another reason that I wanted to come here, besides it being so close to Bratislava, is that you can actually see 2 other countries on a clear day. It's not a clear day, so I can only see one other one, because right there is Austria. That's Austria. So cool. And then, way back there, you could possibly see Czech Republic on a clear day. However, I can only see a few hundred meters. away because of the mist. But yeah, it's so cool because it's situated right on the Danube. Austria's on the other side. Yeah, so cool. I spent maybe an hour here. You really don't need much more than that, and totally worth the little trip from Bratislava. Definitely recommend. It's so cool, and it's really nicely set up for visitors as well, which makes it really easy. You don't have to worry about like things crumbling or anything like that. And yeah, I really love that they also had posts and signages explaining some things. They even had a little thing in the middle talking about the Velvet Revolution and the Iron Curtain and that whole time period about 30 years ago, which is so interesting and so insightful. So yeah, on to the next place. Alright you guys, I made it to the Bratislava Castle, and it has been around since the 9th century. It's been around for forever. It's crazy. There is a museum inside if you wanted to pay 10 euros. Don't want to pay 10 euros, so I'm not going to go inside. But apparently in this particular tower up here is where the replica of the crown is kept. So if you wanted to see that, I think it's part of the display. So kind of cool. But I do have a fun story about this castle that I just learned. So the Mongols actually came and tried to invade it. Couldn't. It's a really well fortified palace or castle. The Ottomans came and tried to take it over. They couldn't do it. Even Napoleon Bonaparte came and tried to take over the castle. Couldn't do it. The Italians moved in like in the 1800s, and they were making dinner here. They were making dinner, maybe having a little bit too much wine. Fire started, drank more wine, more drunk, fire got bigger, and it actually burned down the castle like in the 1800s. So they say the Mongols couldn't take it, the Ottomans couldn't take it, Napoleon Bonaparte couldn't take it, but an Italian dinner took it. So it's kind of funny, but also kind of sad because it was destroyed in the fire, and it was rebuilt because the structure was so poor. They rebuilt it like in the 1960s, but it wasn't until more recently where they actually made it what it looks like today and made it beautiful. They're still building it, they're still working on it, just because it takes money and time to do it. So eventually the gardens are going to be more beautiful with more fountains and more benches. But yeah, it's definitely very pretty, and you can see it from away since it is up on the hill. It's very nice. So right on the other side of the palace are these I can't say that weird every time, Baroque gardens, not broken gardens, but the Baroque style. But there are these Baroque gardens here, and it's so beautiful. And it's actually giving me a little bit of vibes of the Mirabell Palace back in Salzburg. It's so pretty. Alright you guys, I'm going to end this video here. I feel like it is only fitting to end it here in Bratislava at the Bratislava Castle. So cool that I was able to visit all those castles, and I had no idea that Slovakia had that many castles with so many interesting and fun stories. So cool. But it's time to say goodbye, and if you guys want to see what I get up to next, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you guys there.